It was 2:23 p.m. on a Friday when the alert came in. The order processing service had stopped consuming messages. A Kafka broker in the secondary data center had failed, taking down every partition whose only replicas lived on that node. The team spent nearly 2 hours restoring the flow. The cluster had been running for 2 years. It was, quote, working fine, unquote. Nobody had tested what happened when a broker went down. This video is about making sure that never happens to you. In this video, you will learn 5 complementary patterns for Kafka high availability using Red Hat streams for Apache Kafka based on the Strimzi operator. Each pattern adds a layer of protection, from durability within the cluster to replica distribution across zones to disaster recovery across regions, all managed declaratively via custom resources. To design HA in Kafka, you must understand that the cluster operates across 2 independent planes. The control plane manages cluster metadata, broker state, partition leadership, controller election. In KRaft mode, it uses the raft protocol to maintain a quorum among controller nodes. The data plane stores and serves messages. Each topic partition can have multiple replicas distributed across brokers. Real high availability requires both planes to be resilient independently. The durability triad forms the foundation of data plane HA. RF equals 3 means each partition has 3 copies on 3 different brokers, tolerating the loss of 1 broker without data loss. Min.insync.replicas equals 2 means writes are only acknowledged when at least 2 replicas are synchronized, so the ISR can shrink to 2 without blocking producers. And acks equals all on the producer means writes are confirmed only after the ISR confirms storage. Never set min.insync.replicas equal to the replication factor. That means any broker going offline immediately blocks writes. Setting RF equals 3 and min.insync.replicas equals 2 is not sufficient if all 3 replicas live in the same availability zone. A network or power failure that takes down an entire zone takes down all 3 replicas simultaneously. Rack awareness instructs Kafka to distribute each partition's replicas across different racks or availability zones. The topology spread constraints must be explicit, starting from Strimzi 0.49. The operator no longer adds affinity rules automatically. With replication and rack awareness configured, what is the smallest cluster that provides real high availability? 3 brokers, 1 per availability zone. 3 controllers in KRaft mode, 1 per zone. RF equals 3 on all production topics. Loss of any AZ drops the ISR from 3 to 2, still above min.insync.replicas equals 2, and the cluster continues accepting writes. Avoid clusters with only 2 brokers. With RF equals 3, Kafka cannot place each replica on a different broker. Over time, a Kafka cluster tends to become unbalanced. Brokers added after cluster creation do not automatically receive replicas of existing partitions. The result, some brokers are overloaded, others underutilized. Cruise control automates rebalancing by monitoring each broker's CPU, disk, and network usage and generating partition redistribution proposals. With Red Hat streams, it is enabled by the cruise control :empty property in the Kafka CR and managed through the Kafka rebalance CR. Always put rack-aware goal first. Zone distribution is the baseline condition for HA. MirrorMaker 2 replicates topics, consumer groups, and ACLs between clusters, protecting against the loss of an entire region. In the active-passive topology, MirrorMaker 2 continuously replicates data from the primary cluster to a standby DR cluster. On failover, DNS or a load balancer redirects producers and consumers to the DR cluster. The identity replication policy keeps topic names identical. Consumers need no reconfiguration on failover. Sync.group.offsets enabled means consumers restart close to where they left off. None of the 5 patterns works without visibility. A cluster with a silently shrinking ISR, without alerting, is a cluster at risk that looks healthy. Red Hat streams for Apache Kafka exposes JMX metrics via the Kafka exporter included in the Strimzi operator. 3 minimum alerts. Offline partitions count greater than 0 is a P1 critical. Partitions with no leader means actual unavailability. Under-replicated partitions greater than 0 for more than 5 minutes signals a degraded broker. Under min ISR greater than 0 means producers with acks equals all are blocked. These indicators would have caught the Friday incident within minutes. To recap, 5 complementary patterns that work in layers. Replication with RF equals 3 and min.insync.replicas equals 2 for durability within the cluster. Rack awareness to distribute replicas across availability zones. A minimum topology of 3 brokers across 3 AZs to tolerate complete zone loss. Cruise control to maintain healthy distribution over time. And MirrorMaker 2 for cross-region disaster recovery. With Red Hat streams for Apache Kafka, each pattern is managed declaratively via custom resources, versionable in Git, reviewable via pull request, auditable. High availability is not something you turn on. It is something you design, test, and continuously evolve. Thanks for watching.